Hey, and welcome back to John Armstrong Rallying. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube and bring you guys some videos, but today I'm very proud to bring this video with Thrustmaster. Thrustmaster are bringing out this new pedal set, which is the T-LCM pedals. Now, this is a load cell pedal kit. Thrustmaster never done a load cell before. So I haven't tried these yet. I'm very eager to see what they're like, and we're going to unbox them now and see what's inside. First, let's just take a little look at the box itself. So yeah, as you can see in the front, these are the pedals that are inside. We've got a clutch, brake and throttle. Obviously the brake is where we're going to have the load cell technology. That's okay, so this is what we see when we go in. So drilling template for cockpits, okay. So this seems to be some sort of template for drilling holes for suit different cockpits, like playseat or whatever cockpit you have. So yeah, not really sure what you figure out what this does, but it seems to be diagrams. Set that to the side, and this is what inside the box. So got a manual, and then I need to pull this out of the box. So yeah, these seem to be the USB and whatever compatible wires that we need for plugging the pedals into our, yeah, okay. So it seems to be one for power and then one for connecting your pedals to the back of your servo by the looks of things, because that's the normal plug for your pedals. So there we go, guys, that's the pedal set. It actually looks a bit different than it does in the box. Pretty heavy duty, I must say. These are made of, looks like aluminium, but it could be something else, some other sort of cast metal. The throttle feels pretty good too. Nice resistance on the clutch this time, just testing by hand, and yeah, brake I will have to see. Feels like, well, there's still quite a bit of travel, but not too much. And then we've got all these different, these seem to be just for tilting. Yeah, they're just for tilting your pedals differently, slip in here. So just it's going to add a bit more angle to the way the pedals sit. And yeah, there's some other little springs. Seem to be different spring options. Sit in here by the looks of things. So I'm guessing the template is just to drill holes in like your own cockpit, because you've got your standard screw threads on the back of this. So yeah, it should fit with my play seat, no problem. And then you've got your power and yeah, there's power to it. And then you've got the other plug for connecting it to your servo. Yeah, I'd say Thrustmaster have done a great job on these. Pedal set looks really good. So this here seems to be plastic, and you've got nice metal finish for your heels are going to sit. I like how big this brake pedal is too. That's something that, because the old ones, the T3 PA Pro, each pedal was about the same width, but yeah, like a real race or rally car, it would have a bigger brake pedal, so it's nice to see they've done that. Seems to be like a double spring in here at the back. We just push it, you can see how that's compressing. So it's compressing the sort of bottom to mid one first, and then the top one comes into play. In terms of travel, guess there's not too much there actually. It's not really a whole pile of travel when you look at the pedals, so it's going to be really interesting to see what they feel like. I've just been looking into the springs a little bit more. So these two spare red springs seem to be, well, they are the F30s, which are really quite hard, and can't even push them together with my thumb and finger. So yeah, I've got two of those, and then we've got this white spring as well, which is a lot softer. I'm able to fully compress that with my thumb and finger, which is the F10, and the F15 and F20 seem to be the two that are already installed, and the PL is this little one in the middle, and these come with the two red springs, so they're just really cedars and little things to keep them sitting together when they go in here. So I have been playing around a little with the brake pedal springs and just trying to figure out how to replace them. So it's actually really easy. What you do is you need to preferably pull down in this part here, so that this little metal component at the top of the spring set can come away from this. So just pull that down. As you can see, this is slipping out now of the holding part, which is this, which is connected to the pedal, and you just pull that out and it comes away freely, and then this top part comes off and you can take the springs off then. So it's actually really easy to do. Really impressed with how they've designed this, that you can change the springs on the fly really easy. So as you can see, I just put that back in there. It means that, you know, if you want a particular spring feeling for, say, a circuit racing game over like a rally game, then it's really easy to just go in and change these. So as you can see, I'm gonna just pop in this red one at the top, and that literally took me like 30 seconds to do, and that's much stiffer now. So I can put another red one down here again to give me a stiffer feeling. So yeah, really impressed with how easy that is to change. So yeah, that's the unboxing of the new Thrustmaster T-LCM pedals, the load cell pedals. Really happy with the quality, really impressed what the great job that Thrustmaster have done on coming out with this product, and you know, meeting the standards so that, you know, professional sim racers are wanting. So it's really good to see, and can't wait to try these out now and get them fitted on my rig. So we have plugged the T-LCM pedals into my PC, and I've opened up the TM Sim Pedals calibration tool. Now the release one might look slightly different than this one, but it should be fairly similar. Inside here we can adjust things like dead zones, and then adjust the actual braking force that the load cell requires. So I have that set at 80. I feel like that's a good place to have it for me. I've sort of set it where the travel feels right. I have installed the two red springs, top and bottom, which I was showing you earlier. I feel like that gives the best feeling for me anyway, with sort of what a real race car resistance feels like in travel wise. It's pretty firm, and that's what you have in a a real rally car or race car. So I've actually pulled the dead zone down on the clutch, because a real clutch, you let it out, you feel the bite point, which would be there. So you can see the green is actually the raw values, so you can see that's what I'm doing now at the minute. And then the final values, so you can see that's full value in the clutch. So basically you let the clutch out there, you find the bite point, and then you leave it there, which is really cool, because that's what you do whenever you're taking off in a real rally stage. You find the bite point and hold it there until the lights go out, and then you just drop it like that. And then the brake, this is the big one. So obviously you don't want any dead zones there. And you can see we're only getting 45% of the travel. That's full pressure, so that's what I really like. Is, you know, it feels like a real rally car. You know, it's very solid from the get-go. The travel wise on the pedal, you get a good bite straight away, and then you just add more pressure. So I feel like that is working really well. And the throttle / gas I've just left standard. So yeah, that's the way I've got it calibrated. I feel like it works pretty well for me. Okay guys, so just loaded up Dirt Rally 2.0. We are in Dirtfish. I feel like it's a good place to play around with the braking. What I like about the new pedals is just how progressively you can brake into the corner and just add more pressure as you go in. So it makes trail braking really easy. So I come down here to straight, just get the bite point, and then I can apply more pressure as I go in. Actually brake too early there. The throttle actually feels really good too. It's a lot more resistance than the old Thrustmaster pedals, so you be a bit more progressive with the throttle, which is good because you want to be precise with it. You don't want to be just going flat out on the throttle all the time. As you can see by my feet there, I've braked a lot harder because I wasn't going to make that corner, but there's not a whole lot of travel on the actual pedal, which is what we want. The old pedals had a lot more travel. It was more about sort of muscle memory than actual applying more pressure. It was applying more travel. So let's see if we can pick the point now better. See, just like I was locking up the car and I just came off the pedal a little bit and then went back on it again. It does feel really positive, and it feels a lot like a Fiesta R5, like this one would feel like in real life, which is great. So we come up. Let's go to dead stop this time. So at the end we actually locked up the brakes, but it's fine. I'll just show you the way I have the clutch set up. So we let out the clutch. You can see it's not doing anything until we find the bite point. So we're letting the clutch out. Still haven't found the bite point. There's the bite point now, and we can. The cool thing is we can actually ride on the clutch then on that bite point, which makes it really good for doing manual starts. But the brake just feels so much nicer and so much more realistic to how a real R5 car would feel compared to the old pedals. Like I said, I'm using the 2 red springs now. I mean, if you're looking for feeling a bit more like a track car or a normal road car, then you could use some of the maybe one red spring at the bottom where the brake's going to get tighter, just like a rail car. So you could have a softer spring at the top to give you a bit more travel at the beginning of the braking point. So we just go back down to this braking point again, see can we get it a little bit better. So we pick a point, brake. Still brake a little bit early. Let's try it down into this dip. So we brake hard. You know, we come off the throttle a little bit, but then we can brake hard again. I know it's probably hard to see how much I'm actually braking from how little travel is, but that's the great thing, is that it's not about the travel, it's how much pressure I'm putting into this pedal. And then if we go and hit the jump, just see how it feels after you take off the landing. Just brake a little bit. See just how easy it is for me to stop the car there without actually locking up, because I know whenever I went over that jump some other times and try to brake so I don't go into the fence, I just lock up and go straight on. So definitely is a huge improvement, and I have tried it in some circuit racing games as well, and I have improved my lap time considerably. So it just shows how much how much you depend on having a good feeling with your braking and your pedals to put in consistent and fast lap times. So guys, that's the quick play test done with the T-LCM Thrustmaster pedals. Really impressed with them. Compared to the old pedals, I had the T3PA Pros, and it's just no comparison really. Completely different feeling, completely different technology, and the way that it works is completely different. You know, the old one was all about sort of how much travel you were going with the pedal, whereas these the new pedals are about how much pressure you're putting on, so a lot less travel, especially because I'm using the two hardest springs, which obviously don't compress as much. In terms of mounting them, I did have to drill new holes in the Playseat Sensation Pro pedal plate for mounting pedals. That was something that I'm not sure on the reason behind that. I'm sure there's a good one for it. But yeah, I had to drill new holes, so just be aware. But the pedals do come with the template for drilling, so shouldn't be a problem. Just get a drill and you can sort it out pretty quickly. I didn't really change anything else. I didn't change my incline of the pedals from the previous ones. Stayed the same. I didn't change the spacing of the pedals or anything like that. It feels pretty good to me at the minute. So yeah, I kept all that the same. So like I said, I'm using the two red springs, top and bottom, in the brake pedal. I just like how much resistance it gives. I didn't want too much travel on the pedal. Like I said, real race cars, real rally cars, they have a very resistant pedal. It doesn't travel far. You get a good bite on the pedal straight away. And this is what it feels like now. It feels like a real R5 rally car, and it is so much better than anything I've tried before, so really happy with that. I think these pedals are perfect for any racing game, no matter what it is. There's lots of different choice there with the spring options. You can change the amount of force in the calibration tool, dead zones. There's just endless options. I mean, I've only scratched the surface with what I can do with these. But like I was saying, whilst I was playing in the game, you know, you can change the springs to give you a different feeling. The way I would set up the minute is perfect for track racing or rally, but yeah, you can totally change it to give you a different feeling. For example, in Dirt Rally 2.0, you could be driving an R5 car, or you could be driving a Historic car. A Historic car is going to have a softer brake pedal, so hypothetically you could change it to have the softer springs for the Historic car, which would work really well. It's very quick to change, like I showed earlier, so yeah, why not? You know, there's just endless options. So guys, I would highly recommend Thrustmaster T-LCM pedals. They're bringing me closer to real life rally, and I can't wait to keep using them. They're going to make me a lot faster, so make sure to get yours.